Okay, we're just going to take a look at an FRC supine hip internal rotation with our PAILS and rails. So I'm going to lie supine on the floor. The feet are starting roughly shoulder width apart. If I'm going to stretch the right leg, I'm going to slowly walk that foot out a little bit wider to the right hand side. I'm going to take the left ankle and cross it over the knee here. And what I want to happen is I want to let this knee sink towards the ground. The hip's going to rotate slightly, but we don't want the hip to lift up too far off the ground. So just let this sink down and just let the hip twist a little bit and relax in this position. Now you can move this foot around, so if I don't feel the stretch there too much, I can bring the foot up a little bit higher, or I could potentially walk the foot down a little bit lower, or I can potentially walk the foot out a little bit further. So you can sort of hunt around and try and figure out where you feel the best stretch in that hip capsule. Remember, we're working on the internal rotation of the hip. Once you find that stretch, you're going to do a passive stretch here, roughly 2 minutes. So just lie, think about your breath, try to inhale for the count of 4, exhale for the count of 8, so we're a little bit more parasympathetic, and we're just doing that passive stretch and letting the knee fall closer to the ground. Again, try to feel the stretch in the hip. When you get to the end of that 2 minutes, our PAILS contraction is to contract the stuff that we're trying to stretch. So what I'm thinking about is I'm going to leave the foot on top, but I'm thinking about trying to lift this knee back up. So we're contracting all of this and we're pushing up as if we're trying to bring that knee out to the side. At the same time, we're obviously resisting with the top leg. So we're not allowing the bottom leg to move, but the intention is to lift the leg up. So again, we don't go from 0 to 100. Make fists, squeeze your lats, build tension in the body. We contract, and we might do 20% intensity. And then we build up to 40% intensity, 60%, 80%, and then the hardest 100% contraction you can do. I'm trying to open the knee as much as I can. I'm resisting with the top leg. We hold this PAILS contraction for 15 seconds. So count to 15, holding everything nice and tight. When you get to the end of the 15 seconds, we go the other way. So now what I'm going to do is relax, and then I try to pull the knee closer to the ground. Notice how I've taken the top foot off. I'm not resting this on there anymore. I'm actively trying to pull the knee towards the ground. So everything's still tight, contracting. Pull the knee down. Again, this is the rails contraction. We hold this for 15 seconds. When you get to the end of the 15 seconds, we put the ankle back on. We relax again. So now we've found a little bit more range of motion in internal hip rotation. We're going to relax here now for another 60 seconds. So we've done one round of PAILS and rails. We're just finding that new range of motion and relaxing here. After 60 seconds of relaxing, we're going to do it again, the PAILS and rails. So again, I build the tension. Squeeze the fists, squeeze the arms, lats are tight, core is tight. Deep breath in, packing the air down, and then we build again. So 20% contraction, trying to lift the knee up. We build to 40%. 60%, 80, 100, pushing as hard as you can again, trying to lift the knee up. Again, you'll hold for the count of 15 seconds. We get to the end of the 15 seconds, rails contraction, try to pull the knee down towards the ground. Again, the rails contraction, 15 seconds. When you get to the end of that, rest the ankle on top, relax, and then just take a couple more breaths here. And then you can slowly come out of the hip internal rotation, and then obviously you'd swap and do the other side. If you've got knee trouble, when you start to bring that knee in, so this is the position we're trying to bring the knee in, you may start to feel a little bit of pain on that medial side of the knee. One way that can help is if you actually start to dorsiflex the toe, so bring the toe towards the knee. This can help relieve some of the tension. Or again, like I said at the start, just play with the foot position. So move the foot closer to the butt, move it out, in, just play and try to find a position where it doesn't hurt. Don't give up on the stretch, just try to find the specific spot where you can work that internal rotation and start to improve your mobility in the hip.